change over time. This activity is designed for students to explore the nature of the contact between European settlers and Indigenous Australians. Students will be exposed to both sides of history through a range of videos and activities which, according to Denise Schillinglaw in Talking the Talk, the soft tissue of reconciliation, that in order for reconciliation to occur for all Australians, cross-cultural dialogue that enhances each person's understanding of others' culture must be taught. Cause and effect. This lesson is to engage students to think about the cause and effect of European settlement in 1788. This activity asks students to think about what it might have been like to be growing up during the time of settlement. According to Mark Rose, such events in history like the Stolen Generation and the racial abuse known as the silent apartheid have divided the nation and has created tense racial situations and segregation, so it is imperative for students to understand the effects of these events and to get students to think about what it may have been like for those involved. Perspectives. Similar to the other sessions, this session looks at students viewing a different side to the European settlement. The activities in this session provide students the opportunity to use their imagination and write a piece from both the Aboriginals' viewpoint and the viewpoint of the settlers. It's important to look at diversity in all situations, and the Australian Professional Standards for Teaching have created a set of standards that specifically relate to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders and providing those students with the opportunity to learn about their history, culture and languages. Aboriginal Anzacs. Luther College describes valuing diversity as understanding how overlapping and multiple identities relates to patterns of socialisation and affiliation. Those patterns undeniably influence the ways in which people understand and interpret the world around them and how they interact with others in their community. When Anzac Day studies take place, the majority of the activities are based on influential non-Indigenous Australians. If we are to truly value diversity, we need to start looking at influential Indigenous men and women who shaped the Anzacs. This activity introduces Indigenous Anzacs to students and allows them to explore other influential Indigenous people.
The Stolen Generation. This lesson is designed for students to gain an understanding of the events that occurred at the time of the Stolen Generation. Through watching a short clip of Indigenous children being taken away from their families, the students are to engage and respond emotionally. Likewise, to the Bloom's theory, this activity follows the linear timeline of the Stolen Generation and promotes active thinking from the students, where they emotionally respond to text and have to create their own roleplay. After analysing the video clip, the students apply the knowledge and understanding to create their play. Through the active interaction and engaging tasks, this topic will be easily remembered. Dreamtime Stories. The 8 Ways theory of learning was incorporated into the classroom activity through exploring Dreamtime stories and Australian symbols. This provides an insight into Indigenous culture and celebrations. It involves a non-linear cycle where the students have the freedom to construct a fantasy story containing the Australian animals and symbols. This activity involves watching a short Dreamtime story where the students actively engage, learning through the images and symbols presented throughout the clip. Codes and conventions of the clip are discussed as a class. Then the students are to self-reflect and create their own story. This activity is used to merely stimulate the creative aspects of the child's mind, combining Indigenous culture, history, writing skills and symbols to develop an effective task.